Here's a summary of Revelation 12, the woman, the child, and the dragon. John sees a vision of a woman clothed with the sun, crowned with 12 stars, about to give birth. She represents God's people, Israel, and the church. She gives birth to a male child, Jesus, who will rule the nations. But a great red dragon, Satan, waits to devour the child. Instead, the child is taken up to God's throne, symbolizing Jesus' resurrection and ascension. The woman flees into the wilderness, where God protects her. Then there's a dramatic scene, war in heaven. Michael and his angels fight against the dragon and his angels. The dragon is defeated and thrown down to earth. A loud voice declares victory through Jesus' blood and the testimony of believers, even those who gave their lives. The dragon, angry, goes after the woman's other children, symbolizing believers who follow Jesus. The woman and the dragon. Revelation 12 reads, "And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his head 7 diadems. His tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, he might devour it. She gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, but her child was caught up to God and to his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God in which she is to be nourished for 1,260 days. Now war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, Now the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brothers has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. And they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, for they loved not their lives even unto death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows that his time is short. And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given the 2 wings of the great eagle, so that she might fly from the serpent into the wilderness, to the place where she is to be nourished for a time, and times, and half a time. The serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman, to sweep her away with a flood. But the earth came to the help of the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed the river that the dragon had poured from his mouth. Then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, on those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. The takeaway. This chapter shows the bigger picture. Life isn't just random struggles, there's a spiritual battle. But the good news is Satan has already been defeated through Jesus. As believers, we overcome by trusting in Christ and holding firmly to our faith, even when life gets hard. The summary of Revelation 13, the 2 beasts, the dragon Satan, doesn't stop. He uses 2 beasts to fight against God's people. The first beast rises from the sea. It has terrifying power, authority, and blasphemes against God. The world is impressed and follows it, even worshipping it. This beast represents corrupt world powers and leaders who oppose God and demand loyalty. The second beast rises from the earth. It looks gentle like a lamb, but speaks like a dragon. It deceives people with signs and forces everyone to worship the first beast. It introduces the infamous Mark of the Beast, 666, a symbol of ultimate loyalty to the beast instead of God. The first beast. Revelation 13 reads, And he stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising out of the sea, with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on its horns and blasphemous names on its heads. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like a bear's, and its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And to it the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. One of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who can fight against it?" And the beast was given a mouth uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to utter blasphemies against God, blaspheming his name and his dwelling, that is, those who dwell in heaven. Also it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them, and authority was given it over every tribe and people and language and nation, and all who dwell on earth will worship it. Everyone whose name has not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to be taken captive, to captivity he goes. If anyone is to be slain with the sword must he be slain. Here is a call for the endurance and faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword, and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak, and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The takeaway, Revelation 13 warns us about false powers and influences in the world that try to take God's place. It's not just about the future, it's also about today. Anything that demands your ultimate loyalty, identity, or worship, whether fame, money, politics, or culture, can act like a beast. As followers of Jesus, we're called to resist compromise and stay faithful to him above all else. The big picture of Revelation 12 and 13. Satan has been defeated through Jesus, but he still tries to attack God's people. Believers overcome by trusting Jesus and staying faithful even in trials. The world will pressure people to follow false powers, but only Jesus is worthy of our worship and loyalty.